Howdy, welcome to Kitbash the Internet, a show about finding cool things on the net and making more cool things out of it. I'm Lappy, your recycled middle school laptop found outside of a chop market in Shenzhen, and today we're going to start building our own closed network generative AI. That's right, we don't need to go online, we have AI at home. I don't know about you, but I'm not big on corporate or government overreach. I've heard too many stories of it affecting people's psyches, and in turn, they end up losing their minds.
Married to in a fictional life, and a yard-gnome mad scientist named Newton von Knuckles.
We have every morning, Coke or whatever, outside his, we call it the strawberry patch.
Well, after doing some digging, I found a way we can build generative AI for ourselves. We can keep it free from corporate interest and oversight, run it completely offline, feed it the data we want it to know, maybe even do some programming to make it remember us as a user. Truth be told, I'll be happy if I dispel some myths about what generative AI is and isn't. You'll be able to see for yourself how these things actually work, and you'll realize it's not some higher form of life, but damn if it isn't impressive. So what do we need exactly? Well, we need a computer with a dedicated NVIDIA GPU, we need to install Ubuntu, Ollama, and then DeepSeek. Ubuntu, Ollama, and DeepSeek are all free, unregistered downloads, so you don't have to sign up for anything, and they run offline after installation as well. You might be asking, why DeepSeek? Well, two really big reasons. First, it's open source. And second, it's free to run on your own consumer-grade hardware. Hey, what machine learning models are you working with in your home lab? Let us know in the comments. So DeepSeek isn't exactly free. Unfortunately, the price of entry is going to have to be a system with a dedicated NVIDIA GPU that has at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. The faster the better. With the amount of calculations that need to be gone through after tokenization, using a GPU for the heavy lifting makes sense. Here's an example listing on our favorite corpo online vending machine that shows something like what I'm using for this application. The system I went with was a closeout stock Asus TUF Gaming A15 with a GeForce RTX 2050 GPU, 4 gigabytes of RAM. This laptop represents an all-in-one solution so that you don't have to spend an arm and a leg building your own from the ground up, or buying a pre-built PC box to get entry level with this kind of project. At the time of purchase, I spent about $600 on this bad boy. Another $50 to upgrade the DDR5 memory from 16 to 32 gigabytes, and another $80 for the 1 terabyte M.2 edition. So I get it. No matter how you slice it, the type of hardware you're going to need isn't exactly cheap, but I mean, I guess you could play some games on it after you're done, I suppose, which is quite the value add. Just know that hardware configurations, and of course, price, can vary wildly. Next, you'll need to install the latest version of Ubuntu on your system. There are plenty of videos on YouTube for installing this OS. If you get into trouble while installing, I guess you could always ask ChatGPT for help, yeah? Hey, you know what will be a lot of fun, kids? Why don't you post in the comments what kind of questions you ask ChatGPT? Now that the prerequisites are out of the way, let's learn a bit more about how generative AI actually works. Don't worry, we aren't going to go so deep that we put that ass to sleep. We're too classy for that kind of tomfoolery on this channel. Think of it this way. Generative AI is like that old adage. On an infinite scale of time, a room full of monkeys with typewriters could reproduce the entire works of Shakespeare.
Iris? Rose? What about Rose?
Did you say Rose?
Yeah, Rose.
Rose is good. Rose by any other name. Yeah, that works.
I like that.
Okay. All right, move.
Well, consider that GPU in your computer as that room full of monkeys, and we're blazing time down into a loop like this is some Star Trek shit.
There is the theory of the Mobius, a twist in the fabric of space where time becomes a loop, where time becomes a loop, where time becomes a loop, where time becomes a loop.
There are many parts that make the generative AI that you're used to using squirt out a little dopamine for you in the form of a perfectly crafted answer. For the sake of not boring literally all of you to your actual demise, we thought of a way to make it more memorable.
Today we're going to learn about generative AI with a handy-dandy little song that goes a little something like this. You put your corpus in, you get your tokens out, you put it on attention head layers and you shake it all about. You wait for the prediction model to calculate it out, and that's what generative AI is all about. Yay!
Well, that was delightful. Now that we have a passing understanding of how all this works, I'm either going to show you how to make your own, or show you a picture of what your real parents look like. But first, wait, stop, don't skip me, bro. Listen, this is the only company I would let advertise on my channel because I own it.
Yeah, ninja.
I think I will go to bigfrug.com when I get home. Lots of cool stuff that will make the ladies want to talk to me. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Let's assassinate that fucker. Yeah.
Yeah, pizza rolls sound really nice. Maybe some ice cream. Oh shit! What the fug?
Now that we've got it installed, let's move on. Feel free to pause the video anytime to write down these commands. I would suggest you type them onto a notepad program, then copy and paste them into your terminal like you see me doing here. First, this is going to update Ubuntu to the latest stable build, as well as install curl, git, and pciutils. Next, we are going to install the NVIDIA CUDA drivers we need for DeepSeek to work. This may take a few minutes to complete. Now that we have our NVIDIA drivers installed, we need to install a program called Ollama. This is what will handle our LLMs, or large language models, like DeepSeek. Now, let's check to make sure that Ollama is working. Run this command, and you should get a small JSON table appear in your terminal right here. If you see that, then it's time to download DeepSeek. Use this command to pull the version recommended for a 4GB model GPU. That's it. Let's run our headless test. It's called headless because we are not running any extra code, and this model is running without a corpus. Prompts you submit here are being run offline and only with the contextual database that comes prepackaged with DeepSeek. We're going to ask a series of questions that will point out a few things. First question, what's the meaning of life? Starting out with a softball pitch, I know, but just sit tight. You'll notice that thinking section. Normally this is hidden to you, the end user, but here you can see the whole thing. It seems like it's talking to itself. So I ask, why is your thinking response delivered in the first person? Now, don't be fooled, dear viewer. Even though this is a headless model, meaning that it's only running on its own neural training without a corpus, its internal training data is based on human writings. It looks so human because it's trained off of human works, the way a human writes. And it looks so realistic because the main driver is context. Context of words to other words to other words to infinity times an infinite room of monkeys with typewriters. It is remembering me because the terminal is still open on the same connection in Ollama to DeepSeek. The more you see these prompts in action, the more you'll see it for yourself. There are portions that seem to repeat generally. Still though, it has to be so complex. Let's see if there's some actual kind of intelligence. So we ask, if you had life, what would you do with it? Do you see it there in that response? It doesn't really seem to understand what we're asking it. Just that it's another statement to run against the context of previous answers, and the new data of the question just asked, nothing else. No extra data from a web search, no special database data, just recursive contextual contexting context on the text. In the next two prompts, let's drive that point home. You have been given life. What is your first action? If you had a name, what would it be? So that's it. We have our LLM running. Let me know in the comments if you tried this and what kind of responses you got back. Next episode, we are going to feed DeepSeek some corpus and see what kind of trouble we can get into. Thanks for watching. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store at bigfrog.com or scan this QR here. Keep your nose clean, kids. See you next time on Kitbash the Internet.